So I finished the book 5 pages at a time.
Yeah.
I've never read a book this slowly.
Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Book Love Podcast with a little dog today. We're talking about the second half of Crowntide by Alex Aster.
Yeah, Crowntide. I'm just now realizing that this script is really messed up right off the bat. Okay.
All good.
Crowntide, Alex Aster, 4th book in the Lightlark saga, 4th out of 5. And we said we were going to read the second half. So, Becca, what'd you think?
I got to the 70% mark and I thought seriously about DNFing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept reading and I only made it to 85%. But I am now dedicated towards finishing the book, but not at the expense of missing out on social activities.
You texted me that you were like, I'm 70% in and I'm thinking about DNFing this thing. And I hadn't even yet started reading the second half yet. And I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. I got to the 55% mark and I was like, I'm going to DNF this mother. And then I got to the 70% and I was like, I'm going to DNF this mother. And I got to the 85% and I was like, I'm going to DNF this mother. And I kept reading with the hope that Alex Aster was going to write something to make me go, ooh, because every single one of her books, I have not liked it. And then the ending has been pretty damn good.
Right?
So I finished the book 5 pages at a time.
Yeah.
I've never read a book this slowly.
Yeah. It kind of hurts a little bit in regards to like the first few I gobbled. And usually when that's the case, like the whole series is just a gobble. This feels like an evolution in the series. And I was like, wait a second, what? What?
I was actually this book is bad. We're gonna do a full book review, but like I can't. Do you want to recap this knowing that you're gonna try to finish it, but like you're gonna get spoilers?
If I know where the plot's going, maybe I can figure out what is going on.
Okay. All right. Okay. Slight disclaimer. I think I couldn't help it and I tried to be a good boy, but I'm pretty sure everybody's going to pick up on some snarky sassiness during the book recap. So So Becca, please start with part 2 of Crowntide.
Part 2 picks up as Cronin wipes Grimm's memories of Isla. Grimm no longer recognizes Isla, nor does he have any feelings for her.
Yeah. Cronin convinces Grimm that Isla is the doom of his realm. So Grimm tries to off her, but a tearful Isla overpowers him and flies away through the roof. And Grimm flies after her because he can just do that now. At least until Isla flies through a portal that immediately shuts behind.
Oro, meanwhile, is heartbroken that Isla chose Grimm. But really, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. But he has no idea. So he throws a tantrum, destroying everything around him and nearly unaliving Marin, Cinder, Calder, Zed, and Enya.
Oro calms down just in time for a creature to jump out of the tide pool portal thing that they made. And so Oro begins battling a ceaseless barrage of otherworld creatures.
In the desert, Isla stumbles upon an oasis village and immediately befriends a woman named Giselle and her son, Agor, and Perilous, who help her hide from her husband.
Yeah, that's the only time those names are going to come up. And when I wrote the recap, I totally thought they were going to come back. Why name the characters if they never come back? Also, you pronounce that Giselle? How did you pronounce that? Giselle. That is so pretty because in my head, I kept calling her Jessel, which is not pretty at all. Giselle. That's great. Okay. Isla leaves Giselle's home and uses her bridge with Oro to talk to him face to face because that's how that works now. While Oro is fighting the never ending barrage of otherworld creatures from the portal.
After 2 days of portaling around Skyrie, Grim finds Isla in the Oasis village.
She stabs him, but that doesn't seem to matter. And then the two embark on a chase that ends in a battle of powers in the desert right as it begins to storm.
They're both sucked into a portal where they continue their battle amidst a blizzard atop a mountain before getting sucked into another portal and continuing the battle in a forest.
As they grapple with one another, a bolt of lightning melds their memories, and Grim sees the moment Isla unalived herself, and then he subsequently saved her by binding their souls together.
They are sucked through another portal onto a
Mhm.
beach where Isla falls unconscious into the ocean. Grim saves an unconscious Isla from drowning and portals them back to Cronin.
Oro, meanwhile, is rudely awakened from a nap by a world rattling jolt. An enormous monster is using its teeth to tear through the sky into Lightlark.
Oro, Enya, Calder, and Zed fly to fight the monster after it breaks through the worlds. Oro eventually takes it down after Enya is swallowed whole.
Here's what happened, okay? Oro punches through the monster's stomach in order to retrieve Inya, but instead of just pulling her out of this thing's stomach, he flies her back up the thing's throat and out through its mouth.
Back on Skyshade, Grim convinces Cronin to keep an unconscious Isla alive. Cronin says, okay, and then, under his Dome of Doom, tells Grim his entire evil master plan for galactic domination.
Grim says, "Oh, cool, bro," and then hands over the threads of time without even being asked, which, by the way, he just happens to have. That never happened on page. Cronin takes them, laughs an evil villain, and then says all he needs now is the pool of possibilities, which he knows all about.
Honestly. Isla wakes back up in her cell, but doesn't remain there for very long.
Because after Lark has enough time to say, "I told you so," Grim drags Isla back to Cronin, who then steals Isla's mother's charm and now has the ability to see the future.
Why didn't she take that shit earlier? Anywho,
Yes.
he then gives Isla an ultimatum. She has 3 weeks to join them and conquer the universe or be unalived. Which really just means that the book and everyone else inside has 3 weeks of shenanigans before Isla saves the day. 3 weeks of pain.
I'm sorry. This is just like when Grimm, I think it was in book 2, was like, "Hey guys, I'm invading Lightlark in 1 month. Just give
T
everybody this
minus
countdown." It's
12 days to 8 months.
Isla appears to Oro. We don't know if this is a dream that's not a dream or if they're face to face this time. She just appears to let him know about the end of the world in 3 weeks. Oro's pretty bummed about it, but really just wants Isla's star stick. And Isla's all like, "Okay, dude, let me see what I can do."
Pretty sure this is the 70% mark where we were both like, I think I'm done.
Something like that.
So Isla asks Lark what she did with the star stick. And Lark says she won't tell Isla unless Isla retrieves her feather for her. So Isla decides to woo Grim, who has the feather, and Cronin unwittingly helps.
Yep. At Cronin's request, why would Cronin ask this? Okay, anyway, Grim begins escorting Isla to and from Cronin's fancy dinners. And a very cute cat and mouse game begins where Isla tries to woo Grim and Grim tries to find answers to his lost memories.
Eventually, though, Grim decides he understands enough and ends the game.
So Isla decides to break off one of Lark's ribs, unalive a guard with it, and then slip out of her cell so that she can break into Grim's room and search for the feather. But she can't find the feather before Grim catches her and just turns her over to Cronin, who then tortures her.
But ultimately, none of that matters because the next day, Lark simply asks Grim for the feather and gives it to her. Isla now has zero leverage to find the Starstick location for Oro.
And then before dinner one evening, Cronin decides to execute people, as one does, right? And then Giselle is brought forward to be executed, and Isla's like, "No, dude, I got this." And Isla executes her instead. Cronin believes she's coming around to an alliance, and Grimm starts to fall for her, which is
One day after having tea with Cronin, the guards beat on Isla until Grim comes to her rescue, even taking her back to his room to heal her.
and while okay, all that's happening, Oro decides to fly to Nightshade so that he's ready to find the Star Stick when inevitably Isla tells him how. Never mind the never-ending barrage of monsters that everybody is fighting. Okay.
On his flight, the Silver Woman appears to him and allows him to use the pool of possibilities because she and the pool are just anywhere and everywhere and everything for anyone.
In the pool, while flying, Oro learns that the best life he could hope for is currently happening, and that his love for Isla is the best thing in all of it and the reason for it.
Back on Skyshade, while Lark is asleep, a storm rolls by the castle, giving Isla momentary access to her powers. She quickly uses her shadows to delve into Lark's mind, because she can do that because she still has shadows, because she's a Nightshade herself, I guess, and extracts the location of the Starstick.
Isla promptly tells the location of the Star Stick to Oro, but not the readers because it doesn't matter if we know anything. It only matters if the characters do things. Anyway, Oro starts to dig.
Grim escorts Isla to her cell after dinner, again one evening, when he's overcome by arousal, and they kiss.
Kissing turns into some sexy naked time there in the hallway, which I did not like reading this scene. I'm just going to. Grim breaks off after he finishes and then essentially calls Isla a hoe. But then back in his room, I think he regrets it. But I'm not sure. It's kind of weird.
Oro, meantime, digs and finds the Starstick, and then flies back to the surface in time to meet with Isla, who appears in the flesh now, even though she's just been with Grim, and also Oro picks up on every detail of that because her dress is creased. Because that's all it takes. It's just a couple creases in a dress.
Mm-hmm.
But Isla teaches Oro how to use the Starstick before disappearing.
Mm-hmm. Grim starts to become obsessed with Isla. You know, after you do the girl, you just want to do her again. So he's like always looking at her and thinking of her, but he's really conflicted about this because he hates her, but he likes her, but she's hot, but ick, you know?
All the good stuff. At one of Cronin's dinner, where Isla is looking especially fine, Cronin interrupts the festivities to introduce Lark.
While Dusty Lark regenerates, oh wait, hold on. Lark and Cronin duel until Cronin eventually turns Lark to dust.
And while Dusty Lark regenerates, Oro meets with Azul once more, and Azul spills more secrets from his husband. Okay, so I actually stopped right before this moment. So that's where I stopped.
Okay. Okay, so you got to watch Lark be dusted and you got to see Grim like do Isla and then call her a hoe. Did like what the okay. This is I can understand why you stopped reading here. Regarding the secrets that Azul's husband spills. Here's the thing. Crowntide isn't always just a war. It can also refer to a person. Oh, also, prophecies have versions. Apparently, they're like software. Anyways, interpretations of the prophecies are a thing. And this prophecy that we've been reading about for 3 books might not refer to Isla. It might refer to Oro, because the chosen one we've been reading about for 3 books, it might not be the chosen one. Like, what the fuck?
Can't wait to read that. Anyway, the next day, Grim appears at Isla's cell and tells her that Cronin plans to invade Lightlark earlier than agreed. He opens her cell, giving her this one chance because he might not remember her, but he remembers a world worth saving.
Yeah, you said that like it's a nice thing, but the way he says it to Isla is like a slap in the face. Anyway, he says all of that just in time for Cronin to hear everything.
Betrayed, Cronin gives both Isla and Grim one of his twisted second chances. They will duel to the death, and whoever wins will ensure the survival of their realm on Lightlark after he conquers it.
Notice in there's nothing about either Grim or Isla actually surviving, just their realms. Anyway, the night before the duel, Isla breaks out of her cell, somehow, we don't know, and goes to Grim. The two have an extremely long night of passionate, sexy, naked time in Grim's room and all over the place. Like, I'm here to tell you, there is not enough Gatorade in the galaxy to fuel what they did. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Afterward, Isla returns to her cell and just takes Lark's feather and carves Cronin's Skyrie into herself. Using her restored powers, she escapes and portals back to the Forgotten Forest. Grim goes after her to prove his loyalty to Cronin.
Back on Lightlark, legions of Lightlarkians, that's what I'm guessing they're called, via the Star Stick, right, are now battling the monsters that are still constantly breaking through the worlds. Oh, and by the way, Cleo is also there helping, in case you forgot that she even existed.
In the middle of a battle, the Silver Woman appears to Oro along with the pool of possibilities. And she tells him about a sword that can defeat anyone and anything. And Oro needs it to save the world.
But it's lost in a pocket of time somewhere, and Oro is the only one who can find it, though he doesn't have the threads of time anymore. Like,
Landing in the Forgotten Forest, Isla immediately pulls on her necklace to summon Grim, who shows up in a whole bunch of arrogance.
yeah. Isla turns the forest into a never-ending replay of their love story, essentially the first 3 books that we read. And then they duel through it. Like, okay. And here's what gets me. At first they duel with their powers, but then they just have this really long, ridiculous effing sword fight. They are the most powerful power wielders like ever, and they're gonna fight each other with swords. Oh my.
Eventually, Grim remembers and understands, but claims he doesn't care. And then he summons Cronin, who uses his power to hold both Grim and Isla in order to issue an ultimatum. Show him the pool of possibilities, or Grim is unalived.
Isla obviously decides to show him the pool, because even though the pool is sentient and only shows itself to others that are worthy, Isla can just guide other people to it.
Cronin steps in to see all his possibilities, and then he breaks Isla's neck.
Yeah, like, and that, what you just read, Bucka, is not me being concise. That is like 3 sentences in the book that I turned into 2 sentences. It's okay. All right. And then, in true Alex Aster fashion, that she specifically does to piss me off, Alex Aster gives us the real plot in hindsight. After carving Cronin's Skyrie into her, Isla convinces Lark to tell Isla how to unalive Cronin by telling her how to unalive Lark, so that Isla can unalive Lark and absorb her regenerative powers, but Isla promises to resurrect Lark after Isla defeats Cronin, which she can only do if she unalives Lark. Anyway, did you follow any of that?
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more time without reading the purposefully obtuse sentence that I wrote. Essentially, Lark cannot die. She always regenerates. The reason that Cronin cannot be killed is because Cronin has some of Lark inside him. So that means Cronin will always regenerate and cannot die. Thus, Isla says, hey, Lark, I need to know how to kill you so that I can kill Cronin, but also so that I absorb your power so that I also can never die. But don't you worry, friend who is not a friend and we hate each other. I promise that once I defeat Cronin, I will resurrect you.
I bet this goes very well.
And anyway, so Lark tells her everything and Isla unalives her.
Back in the present, stabbed neck and all, Isla heals and then overpowers Cronin. She uses her power to resurrect Aurora, along with a host of other unnamed souls, before Cronin counterattacks and drowns Isla in the pool of possibilities again and again and again.
Because she can't die now, right? Even though, and this is, oh my God, even though she is continually drowning, somehow Isla is conscious for all of this and is able to build her strength and fuse it with the infinite diamond's power in order to burst out of the pool and burst through Cronin's hold and obliterate his mind and discover his deepest fear, which is the Heartblade, which, by the way, is the weapon the Silver Woman was telling Oro about, but never gave Oro the name of.
And I'm assuming this is not the same sword as the one that we hunted down earlier.
No, it's a different sword.
Cool. Isla steps out of the pool, surrounded by a never-ending sea of versions of herself, past, present, and future, and takes Cronin's crown to become the Dark Queen.
Yeah, I don't know where all of these other versions of herself came. Whatever. Okay. Back on Lightlark, Oro marches into his palace in order to prepare for Cronin's early invasion, which Isla warned him about, only to find the Silver Woman and the pool of possibilities there. Is anybody having trouble understanding how the pool of possibilities, drowned Isla, but simultaneously is in Oro's palace? Okay, there you go.
I also thought it was just somewhere in your mind. Anywho, the Silver Woman...
That too, Becca, that too.
The Silver Woman informs Oro that conveniently Future has been added to the pool like an ingredient when baking a cake. So Oro looks into every possible future and knows just what to do. But we readers don't have a clue.
Back on Skyshade, Isla, the Dark Queen, asks for Grimm's help to finish off Cronin. In order to reach her, Grimm steps into the pool of possibilities and just immediately sees all of the possibilities. He doesn't have to ask it a question. He doesn't have to command it like Isla did. He just immediately knows everything like that. Anyways, and then he betrays Isla and portals her and all of the others, unknown things, away, effectively choosing Cronin.
Isla arrives back on Lightlark along with Cleo's son and all the other people Isla had once unalived, where Oro and Cleo are waiting.
And then the sky cracks open as portal after portal after portal begins opening, which begins the invasion of Lightlark.
The story ends with Isla ruminating on how the prophecy might not be about her. And the choices of Oro, Grimm, and Isla will define the future of the galaxy.
Becca, have you ever finished a book and just stared at the wall? Not in awe, but maybe in confusion or exhaustion?
Yeah, like when you've got the emotional exhaustion of finishing a literary masterpiece, except it definitely wasn't a masterpiece, and you are just tired. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. I refer to this as a book hangover. My brain is dehydrated, my standards are bloated, and I can't remember what good storytelling is anymore.
Hangover? That's hilarious. How do you cope with one of those?
Good question, Becca, and good news. Today's episode is sponsored by Narrative IV, the world's first electrolyte-infused emotional recovery drink made just for readers suffering from a full-blown book hangover.
Now, with 500 milligrams of plot-stabilizing electrolytes, 200% of your daily recommended dose of character closure, Narrative IV is here to patch your soul back together, Whether you're hungover from 700 pages of Jivrel or a plot twist so bad you enter apathy.
Narrative IV is now available in delicious flavors such as Plot Hole Peach, Unreliable Narration Nectar, Enemies to Lover Elixir, and the new limited edition flavor, Time Travel Mango.
Side effects may include a restored will to read, forgiveness toward your past reading self, and finally an understanding that book talk made me do it isn't a real excuse.
Not every book deserves a sequel, but your brain certainly does. Find your bottle of Narrative IV wherever you get books.
And now, back to the show.
I find myself in a little bit of a pickle after recapping this, Becca. Because you didn't finish the book. But you sort of know what happens.
Yep.
So we could either start going through some of the bullet points I've written down to facilitate conversation, or we could just talk about what you know, what you think, and why you couldn't finish. Or chose not to, I should say.
Well, I will. I will finish the book. I'm manifesting that. It wasn't in time for this. It wasn't in time. And normally we will push back our recordings to accommodate our reading changes and needs. But both of us thinking about DNFing this book so far into it seemed like a good recording-worthy adventure.
No, it definitely did. I think you can tell through reading the recap that I did not want to finish this book.
I was gonna say, you finished out of spite. That is
Yes,
what that
I did.
was.
Yeah, I hate read this book. Like
And I think one of the main reasons and one of your bullet points is this magic system no longer has enough logic to support it to make it compelling.
that's a nice way. That was a very lovely phrasing. Yes, you are absolutely accurate. Things just are. What?
And that was acceptable in the beginning because there was enough logic around it that things could just be. And now, none of that logic is useful. These wildling... Why does Lark turn into dust? Why is she just a corpse the entire book?
Yes, yeah.
Like, I picture Lark with, an arm stitching itself back together in the wrong spot because it can't find the right spot, because that's how it's described. Her chest is open half the time with just her heart falling out of it, her guts shoved back in, so there's not much skin, according to the narration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, all right, like, if your arm gets cut off, I get how, like, it could fuse back onto the spot. Like, that's just like magical surgery, right? But if you're a pile of dust, can somebody explain to me how you regenerate? Are you like a phoenix that, like, a baby lark manifests inside the pile of dust and rises out of the ashes? Or are your dust particles like fusing back together one by one to create the whole again? Like what the F are we talking about here?
And I think one thing that kind of irritates me that wasn't in the part that's coming forward from your description is we don't learn why Lark likes Cronin.
Oh, yes, there is a whole thing where Lark loves Cronin. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lark loves Cronin, but like it's really deep down inside and she mostly just hates him. And it's all like the F, man. Like, okay, magic system aside, because I understand. Actually, we'll stick with the magic system for just a second, because the one big beef I kind of have is I understand that Isla absorbs people's power when she offs them, but she doesn't have any power on Skyshade. So how is she absorbing the power of the people that she's offing on Lightlark on Skyshade? She doesn't have any power. Isn't the absorption of other people's powers part of her power? It's her flair.
Nah,
So,
obviously all that shit's retrospective.
like, dude, fucking dude. Mm. And then the cell that she is in is made of shade-made metal, which shade-made metal in and of itself nullifies power. When she's not around shade-made metal, it's Cronin's like world poison that nullifies. So, okay, I get that you etch his Skyrie into you, which is what Grimm did before he went, and that means that his world poison doesn't affect you. But if you're still inside a box made of shade-made metal, that should just sap your, like, it doesn't. What is going on here?
I don't know.
I feel like Alex Aster wrote all of these rules and she goes, well, that's not fucking convenient, and then just ignored all of them.
Are you gonna read the next book when it comes out?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna hate read the 5th book and finish the story. If there's got to be something redemptive about it, there has to be.
So I take it you will read Grimm and Oro, the novellas.
Well, yeah, I fucking love you, and I love talking to you about this, even if I'm going to be an asshole about it. So yes, I'm totally going to read the prequel novella with you.
I was gonna say, I think I can handle the novellas. I we'll see how I feel at the end of finishing this book if I'm interested in reading the 5th.
I think you'll be fine reading the 5th because, from what I understand, Alex Aster has started writing a whole other series of books and hasn't even started on the 5th Lightlark book yet.
Hmm.
So I don't know what she's doing, but like, you have time to
She also
recover.
got bored with it.
Yeah. Um, I think here's my big problem with this book. That is especially evident in part 2. In the first 3 books, the overarching message is that love conquers everything. And especially in the second half of this book, love is either a weapon or it is the thing that leads to everybody's demise at all times.
Mhm.
And that's the messaging of the book. There's not even like Isla does sexy things to Grimm specifically to try to get the feather or to learn what the Skyrie is. Like, she always has an alternative motive. It's not just love. And I think that the complete tonal change of this book compared to the first 3 really threw me for a loop.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Because I was kind of excited to hear more about, like, Lark and Cronin's story that created the love. I guess that's what I really meant. Like, I was kind of interested for, like, Isla and her to bond, maybe even? That's not been a thing.
Uh I feel like the only reason Lark is in this story is so that Isla can get her powers later.
Yeah.
But I really feel like that's stupid because Isla could have like offed Lark at the very fucking beginning of the story. Like, obviously she needed Lark to get into Skyshade. But then when she's in Skyshade, she could have just offed Lark. But no, Lark's got to like hang around for the next 435 pages. Actually, she's still around. She's not. I mean, she's going to be resurrected, right? I mean, if Isla went back to Lightlark with everybody that she offed, that's got to be Lark. So Lark's still around.
And as an ebook reader, it's super big pet peeve that there's no chapter numbers, no distinguishing chapters. I get that it tells me that my percent through the book at the bottom, but like it's also nice to like see how many more chapters I have left to go, and I could not figure out which chapter I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
to see how many I had left to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to take a stab at some predictions for book 5
Yeah.
right now. So would you like me to predict, or you want to try to predict?
I have no predictions because I need to
Okay.
read.
All right. Book 5. Clearly, well, first, you remember when we did part 1 and we were like, oh my God, they told us what Crowntide is. Yeah, that was a big fat lie, because then they still waited 400 more pages to tell us what Crowntide actually might be.
Yes.
But I think that book 5 is Crowntide. It's not going to be named Crowntide, but it is Crowntide. And Crowntide is going to both be a war and a person. And I think the war is short, like with the monsters breaking through. And then we go back to Skyshade, or Cronin actually comes to Lightlark, and uh obviously they're going to defeat Cronin, and they're going to save the planet of Lightlark, which I still don't understand why anybody would want to save that planet other than the fact that that's their home. And I think that there's a thruple situation at the end of this book. I don't think that, like, there's the prophecy that one of them has to die, and that is reinforced over and over and over again. But somehow I think they sidestep that, and the message is we choose our own fate, and love conquers all. Boom, done, story over.
I just want to know more about, like, what kind of throuple house would this couple have? Like, so Isla would be in the center of the house, and there'd be 2 wings, right? There would be a night wing for Oro, or for Grim, and then a day wing for Oro,
Don't forget the cuck chair in Isla's center part of the house.
right? Like, the decorations would be wildly different throughout the building, which would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or, so, okay, so if Isla loves both of them, why does Grim not have access to Oro's powers and vice versa? I get that they don't love each other, but there's a nice little line there.
Huh. Because yeah, if Isla has access to Oro's powers, then she has those powers allegedly. And then when Grim has access to Isla's powers, he would have access to all of the powers that she has access to. That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because this okay. This series should be renamed "Whose Magic System Is It Anyway?" Where the magic is made up and the points don't matter. That's
I really liked the first book. The premise of the first book is good. The direction we've gone is bewildered me.
Can I tell you that I was chatting to somebody else in the book industry? So this is not just another reader, but somebody else in the book industry who has access to lots and lots of people's opinions like us. And they were telling me that they have encountered 3 kinds of Lightlark readers.
Okay.
People that love it, it can do no wrong, and it is the best thing ever written.
Fair.
People that at best think it's middling.
That would be us.
And then people that loved it in the beginning and hated it by the end.
That might be me.
But there is nobody in the middle. There is nobody that was like, I didn't really like book 1, but book 2 was awesome. Like it is either like start up here and go down, stay down here, or start up here and stay up here. There's which is crazy to me, because I was just like, oh, I've met a couple of people that think Lightlark is the best thing ever written. And then I don't want to say I hate read all of the books, because I thought that they were like guilty pleasure books. Like, oh, this is not amazingly written fantasy, but I can't get enough of this stupid story. But then like you loved it, and now you're like, meh. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so that feedback makes sense. I've got a little cosmopolitan of it in my mind right now.
Yep. I am definitely that third category.
My goodness, it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, Becca. This particular second half of this book was the most fun thing to hate.
Sometimes you need that, especially in today's world right now. If I can focus on something that's super minor, it's- I'll take it.
Can I also say that out of all of the books, this is the one that is going to translate to Netflix the best.
Yeah.
It's nothing but green screen superhero crap.
Yeah.
Like when I described they were like fighting in the desert and then got sucked into a portal and they were fighting on a mountaintop and they got sucked into a portal and they were fighting in a forest. Like that literally happens in the space of a paragraph. Like horrible in a book would probably be pretty cool on the screen.
That feels like Doctor Strange, that whole movie.
Oh man. I'm glad that you forced me to read this book, and I'm really not happy that you forced me to read this book.
I think you can pick the next series.
I think for the next series, we're taking a break from fantasy,
Okay.
and that'll allow you and me to just go read our own fantasy. What what else do we want to talk about for part 2 of Crowntide?
I'm gonna finish it. I have like 30 pages, okay? It's actually not that much I have left to go.
Yeah, well, you said you're like 85% of the way through? Yeah. In my hardback, that would have been 15% would have been like 50 or 60 pages. So half of that for your ebook sounds about right. Yeah. So that's literally, well, for this book, that's probably 2 sittings for you. Read 15 pages, get up and like hate walk around your house and then sit
Yeah.
back down an hour later.
Yeah. I've been reading 4 chapters or so at a time, and each time I read the chapter, I'm like, "Okay, I can stop here." Well, if I stop here, then I have to keep reading more sessions. Okay, keep reading. Okay, I can stop here. No, keep reading. Stop. No, keep reading.
Can you tell everybody that it's okay to not read something or take your time? I want you to give a little bit of a public service announcement.
Yes. Yes, public service announcement. You are allowed to DNF a book even at 90%, okay? You don't have to hate finish it, first off. You don't have to. Also, it's okay if it takes you an eon to finish a book because it's just not the right mood. Because I think that's also been part of my issue. Right now, I have a lot of social life going on, and that's nice and very abnormal for me for winter. So I'm embracing it. And that means less reading because there's no sun.
There is no sun. Nope. It is just gray all the time.
Morning poop
It's
walks. I can finally find the poop on now. So without a flashlight. So life is getting much better right now.
oh, you can finally. I love how you didn't even say it's sunny. There's just enough ambient light that we can find the hot dirt turd.
Yep. It's all blue light. It's not warm, cool tones. In
uh,
fact, it's half moonlight bouncing off snow right now, but I'll take it.
mhm. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and put a bookmark in it for now.
Sounds good. We'll be back with a full review of Crowntide after I finish reading.
Don't forget to leave us a comment or send us an email. Um, we would love to know what you think of part 2 of Crown Tide. So,
Which
like, hit
Lightlark
us up.
reader are you? Did,
Yeah,
did
what
it
kind
do you
of
go wrong? Are you regretting reading this? Or are you like me? It started great, and now we're
on the downward slide? Anyways, our contact information is in the description down below, or you can just comment right here.
until next time.
See ya.